All right. Hello, everyone. How's it going? This is immigration attorney Moumita. I'm coming to you live to talk about immigration and to see what you may have on your minds tonight. And tonight, the special question that I'm going to start with is, can your U.S. citizen spouse cancel your green card case? Can your U.S. citizen spouse cancel your green card case? This is a special question that I know that many of you have dealt with, and maybe you're dealing with this question right now and you're really worried sick about what's going to happen to your case. Can your life go on? Can you still endure what is happening in your relationship just for the sake of a green card? So let's talk about this. But before I do that, thank you so much to everyone who's joining me live right now. I'm live streaming on 4 different platforms, and my name is Moumita Rahman. I am an immigration attorney. I am in New York, but I work with immigration clients all over the US. So if you do need to have your case evaluated, definitely give us a call at 212-248-7907 so we can help figure out what your options may be. Okay, so let's can't speak tonight. Let's jump right into it. Can your U.S. citizen spouse cancel your immigration case? And the answer is yes and no. So normally when you are filing for a green card with your U.S. citizen spouse, you are usually filing 2 different applications together. One is that of your spouse, and that is typically the I-130, and the second is the I-485. Now, this is very important for everyone to understand. The I-130 is the property, basically, of the U.S. citizen spouse. That is their application for you. However, the I-485 is your application, and the I-485 is the green card application. So when you're going through problems in your relationship and your husband or your wife gets mad at you and they say, I'm going to cancel your case, well, they can definitely withdraw or cancel their I-130, but they legally have no right to cancel your I-485 because that is your own. And if you are going through these sort of problems where whenever your spouse is mad at you and they're angry, they say, I'm going to cancel your case, I'm not going to go forward with it, well, you may be eligible to file an application on your own called the VAWA Self Petition, and I would love to help you with this case because it definitely means the ability for you to continue your case by yourself without having to rely on your spouse or without having to live in fear that your spouse is going to keep canceling your case and they're going to take this right away from you, right? And it's important for you to understand that this may be signs of manipulation or control over your life. Basically, your spouse wants to have this control and they know they hold this as leverage over you. And whenever they're upset about something or they're trying to get you to be a certain way or to do something, they use this as a threat in order to get you to comply. Simply not right. And definitely the law allows us to file for an application for a green card or to continue your case for a green card without their help when you are going through these sort of problems. Now, an important thing to note is that what if you never started your green card case or you've been told that you can't do the green card case because you entered illegally? Then what are your options? What if your spouse keeps saying, I'm going to call immigration on you, I'm going to call police on you, and there's no immigration application to hold over your head, but they do hold your immigration status over your head because they know that you don't have papers, they know that you're not documented, and they definitely will be using that in a way to try to control you, right? Well, if this is also happening to you, and if you don't have a legal entry, then even better news, we may be able to help you file for the green card on your own, and you would not need to leave the United States. It's magic news, and it's really, really good. It's really important for everyone to know because a lot of people are told that they have to go outside the country, that they have to go to the consulate for an interview, which is extremely stressful and may not always be necessary, especially if you're going through these sort of problems in your marriage. So definitely give us a call, 212-248-7907. All right, so now that I am here, now that I'm done talking about this, I welcome you and I encourage you to post your immigration questions in the box below, in the comment box, wherever you are on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. And I'm gonna do my best to answer as many questions live as I can, okay? Let's start with Instagram right now. Thank you for joining, everyone. All right. From Alib, I have a marriage case approved in USCIS, but before I get my visa and green card, I came to the US through parole and I didn't process my marriage case. Now, when I'm in the US, my wife and I are apart. From Alib. Alib, definitely give us a call, 212-248-7907. I'll definitely discuss with you to see if you qualify for self-petition, where even if you're separated from your US citizen spouse, or even if you've gotten divorced within the past 2 years, you may be eligible to continue for a green card and request it on the basis of the fact that you have suffered extreme cruelty and or battery in your marriage, okay? If officers make a home visit and threaten your spouse and get a statement that the marriage is fraud, but she does not withdraw the application, what may happen from make hurt? Make hurt, very interesting. Now, in a lot of other states in the US, it is not uncommon for officers to pay a home visit to your home to see if the marriage is real. And when this happens, the results are very, very mixed, because a lot of times there's no one there. They may be asking questions and writing down answers from the spouse in a way that misconstrues the situation. And your spouse may also feel scared, and they may answer in different ways that the officers take to mean that your marriage is not real. But it simply may not be the case. And if they do this, you have the right to challenge it. You certainly want to get a lawyer to help you with your case if you find that immigration is doing a home visit to you. Personally, I hate these home visits, because half the time that I've seen them happen in cases, not in my cases, but in other cases where people come to me after the fact, there's all sorts of funny business that goes on. So if you are having a home visit, certainly it is time to talk to a lawyer, because you don't want to take a chance that they're going to accuse you of marriage fraud just because they don't understand why, I don't know, why you share the same toothbrush, for example. Okay. And hello, I see so many of my current clients. Thank you, nice to see you. If someone re-enters after deportation and has a sibling sponsorship and also married to a US citizen, is there any chance of getting any sort of legal chance? From Nadia, Nadia_pair. Thank you so much for your question. If you have been deported or you have received a deportation order and you re-enter the United States illegally, then that means that you have triggered the permanent bar, especially only if the reentry was after April 1st, 1997, which is a majority of the case. So most likely, Nadia, your sibling probably has a permanent bar. And if you have a permanent bar, there are really only four ways to fix it. The first, most commonly known way is go out of the country and stay outside for 10 years before you can come back. Now, that is not ideal. So we want to look for solutions inside the US to help someone get a green card, even if they have a permanent bar. And the three main cases to help people get over that permanent bar are this. Number one is the VAWA Self Petition, especially if and only if there is a connection to the reentry or the deportation to the extreme cruelty / abuse / battery that somebody has suffered at the hands of their US citizen spouse or even their adult US citizen children, okay? Number two, the second case where we may, if you qualify, we may be able to help you get over the permanent bar is called the U visa. The U visa is something that a lot of people know about. This is for victims of crime where you have suffered certain sorts of felony level serious crimes that cause you some sort of injury, whether it's a physical or psychological, or even if you don't, as long as you have cooperated with law enforcement. And the third case, which I really love, is called the T visa. It is for victims of trafficking. And I know trafficking sounds very serious, but trafficking is a situation where you have been forced to do something, whether it's provide services or to perform labor or perform sex acts under duress, under coercion, under false promises. And this can happen in a relationship or from an employer in a workplace. So these are three types of cases where if you qualify, we may be able to ask for them to lift the permanent bar so that we can help you get a green card, okay? But otherwise, a sibling petition will not necessarily work. Definitely give us a call, 212-248-7907. Benny Boy is asking, can you help me in California? Benny Boy, definitely. I have so many clients in California, Arizona, everywhere. I work with clients all over the United States. And if you ever see my posts, I actually travel all over the United States too, to be with my clients during their interviews wherever I can. My mission over the next 2 years is to actually visit every single immigration office inside the United States, because I already have experience of doing hundreds of interviews, but my goal is to do these hundreds of interviews all over the US, because what better way to get knowledge? Immigration is so complicated because you can go from one office to another and it's still different, and you can still achieve a different result. So it's good to get familiar with all of them. Can you file for yourself if your spouse doesn't want to file? From Delarue Olegs? Yes, definitely. If your spouse does not want to help you file for your green card, please give me a call, 212-248-7907. If your spouse says now is not the time, or if you get a green card, you're just going to leave me, or you know that they have documents that they can give you to help your case, but they won't give it, please give us a call. For me, these are indications and signs that they're trying to control your status, and you may be eligible to qualify underneath that, okay? All right. I have a citizenship interview ahead from Nasir. Any advice? Nasir, anyone who has an interview with immigration, the number one key is to prepare. And where possible, get an attorney. Make sure you know what's inside your application. Make sure you know that you have the required documentation for the interview, and make sure you go over the potential questions. Get a lawyer if you can. Okay, that's my best luck. My mom is undocumented. I'm 21. Am I able to request citizenship for her? From Jocelyn. Jocelyn, if your mom is undocumented, the number one question is, what is her manner of entry and what other options may she have? For undocumented parents, sometimes a little bit more difficult, but definitely give us a call and we'll ask you some questions to see if she has any available forms of relief, okay? 212-248-7907. All right, can someone get a forgiveness after being deported from Princess? Getting deported is not always the end of the story. If you have gotten deported or your loved one has gotten deported, sometimes there may be ways to bring them back even sooner, before the 10 years or the 5 years may elapse, but they need to usually have a qualifying relative. Usually the qualifying relative has to be a spouse or a citizen parent or green card holding parent. And if there's not a qualifying relative, they may have to stay outside. But deportation is not always the end of the road. Definitely every case is different and you need to get an analysis. Give us a call, Princess, 212-248-7907. Sorry, and the questions are coming really fast. I'm married for 2 years, 6 months since conditional green card, but both wish to end marriage because we're both unhappy. Advice from Varun. Varun, anyone else who has a 2-year green card and now you're finding that you can't stay married or you don't want to stay married for whatever reason, is that the end of the road? And the answer is no, it is not the end of the road, because when you have, when you're going to file your application to remove conditions, you may be able to request a waiver if you've gotten divorced, or if you suffered extreme cruelty during your marriage. It's basically like a VAWA application. And the third is if you would suffer extreme hardship if you don't get it approved. So you have three options, but you can only file for the divorce waiver if you have legally terminated your marriage. Definitely call us for assistance with your case, Varun, 212-248-7907. Now, when you are filing for a waiver of your I-751 joint filing requirements, it is really important to do it with the help of a lawyer to avoid the potential of a denial, because for an I-751, usually when you get denied, 90% of the time they send you directly to immigration court for removal hearings. So you want to try to minimize that, okay? And we deal with lots of complicated I-751s, lots of really, really complicated I-751s, and it's like my passion to do these cases. And I've done so many of them where people got them denied when they did them with other lawyers, and lo and behold, they hire us and we do them and we get it approved, which I love. It's such a nice victory. I'm married to a U.S. citizen for 3 years, DACA and illegal entry. Can I file for residency? From Bear Things. Bear Things, thank you for writing. So can you apply for residency? Yes, you probably have two options. One would either be the waiver, which is basically requires you to go out of the country. It's called the Perdón, and it's the I-601A. Or if you are going through problems in your marriage, right, where you're feeling that you're controlled, your spouse is always mad at you. You can never do anything right. You can't sleep at night because of the arguments. Things are happening where you feel super stressed out to a high level. You may be able to actually do the process inside the U.S. Without having to leave. So definitely give us a call, Bear Things, and we'll go ahead and see what you're eligible for. I'm a green card holder where I got my green card through marriage basis. How long do I have to wait to remarry and apply for a green card for another spouse? Vivian, I believe when you have gotten your green card through marriage and you want to remarry somebody else and help them get a green card, you normally have to wait 5 years for that, okay? All right. Hola, Juan, how are you? My interview is done, but still waiting for a decision. But meanwhile, my case got transferred to another office. What to do from Satish? Satish, nothing you can do. If it gets transferred, you just have to wait for a decision. Sometimes your case may get transferred from one immigration office to another because they are trying to speed up the processing time of your case. It doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. Sometimes it gets transferred because they're planning to give you an interview. Okay. Juan Leo is asking, mi hija entró en la frontera y los soldados quiero que usted lleve su caso. Juan, por favor, llámenos al 212-248-7907 por una consulta. Voy a sorry, my Spanish, I'm still getting used to Spanish. Voy a ver el caso de su hija, okay? Okay. Claudia Calderon is asking, how do you know what embassy you are going to be sent to? I'm in California and he's in Mexico. So Claudia, if your spouse is going for an immigrant visa, right? If you're married to somebody who's in Mexico, I believe all of the immigrant visas go to Ciudad Juarez. All right. But if you're doing other, like a fiance visa or something like that, you'll usually go to the consulate that's in the state. You'll go to the other states in Mexico. But for immigrant visa interviews, which are for spouses of U.S. citizens or parents of U.S. citizens, things like that, anytime you're getting an immigrant visa, you're always going to go to Ciudad Juarez if your relative is in Mexico. Okay. Yes, Mika's not saying, hi, Moumita. I tried to make an appointment. You're literally booked 2 months ahead. I know, Mika. There's high demand and there's only one of me, and I'm doing a lot of travel for my clients. But here's my thing: if you want me to take a look at your case, don't hesitate, even if it's 2 months out, because sometimes we have openings that come up ahead. Sometimes we can even speak to you sooner than that. But you have to take what is available, because otherwise it's just going to keep getting booking more and more, and your problems are not going to go away. But even if you have to wait a little bit of time to speak with me, which I appreciate deeply, you willing to wait. I know that I'm one of the best attorneys out there, and I want to sincerely help on your case. Okay, so take that appointment, Mika. Okay. Let's see. Rocky's asking, my I-360 was approved in November, and I sent the I-485 to Vermont on February 2020. How long will it take to schedule an interview for AOS? Rocky, it's going to take a long time, because Vermont Service Center has to then send your I-485 to the appropriate field office, and then the field office has to give you the interview for the green card or make a decision on your case. Okay, so maybe it could take anywhere from 6 months to a year or more. It depends. All right. Have you heard anything about a marriage interview being skipped and approved residency from Jasmine? Yasmin, yes, I have. I've actually had several green cards approved without an interview for a marriage-based case. Depends on the field office. Here, I work mostly in New York, and the majority of my cases in New York, a lot of them are trying to move ahead the interviews, so they're skipping some interviews. But basically, for the cases where they don't have any problems, it's different from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, meaning from location to location. Okay, but yes, I have heard of them, and I have had it happen to me. But there's no guarantee that you're going to skip your interview. Just letting you know. How long for AOS through a U.S. citizen husband, from Ale Osteen? Ale, for adjustment of status through a U.S. citizen spouse, your case is probably going to take anywhere from 8 months to 18 months. It's a big range. Gabby, hi, nice to see you. Congrats on 16,000 followers on Instagram, such a huge accomplishment. Starting following when it was just 9,000 followers. Amazing, Gabby. Thank you so much. And thank you. Yes, I recently reached 16,000 followers on Instagram, which is so amazing. So amazing. I believe I was at 3,000 at the beginning of this year or the end of last year. So now I'm at 16,000. It's incredible. Thank you to all of my followers. I'm now more than 34,000 followers on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to my channel on YouTube, please subscribe to me there, because I put out longer videos on immigration news, which is a little bit different from what I do on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. Okay. Thank you, Gabby. So nice to see you. Okay. Do you instantly get a green card when you marry a U.S. citizen as an international student? No, my friend, you don't. Nothing is instant in immigration. You're going to have to go through the process and make applications and wait. So probably take about a year. My dad applied for his green card 6 months ago and still has not gotten a reply. Usually he gets his green card in 4 months every time he applies for the renewal. Everything is taking longer. That's what I can say. Share your WhatsApp number from Shahan Bin. So important announcement, guys. I do not have any WhatsApp. I have 0 WhatsApp to share. And there are some scams going on out there, some very unscrupulous people who are taking money from people and immigrants and people who just don't see the difference. But be careful, not just from me. They are scamming other lawyers, and they're impersonating other lawyers on TikTok and also, I believe, on Instagram. Do not give your money to anyone on WhatsApp, because it's a scam. All right. The only way to get in contact with me is to call our office at 212-248-7907 or send me a DM on Instagram. That is the only way, literally, to get in touch with me. I do not have WhatsApp. I filed for VAWA last year in November. What should I expect next? I've received my prima facie. God favors me. God does favor you. And you should just expect a long wait time, because the VAWA decisions are taking about 18 months. Okay. So hang in there. Is it true that the U.S. Embassy in Lagos is not conducting immigrant visa interview until further notice? From Peter. Peter, I haven't heard that, but I can double check. Okay. I'm a U.S. spouse who sponsored my immigrant husband. All right. I'm a U.S. citizen spouse who sponsored my immigrant husband. He's been here for 2 years, and immediately after we submitted the I-751, he walked out to live with another woman. What can I do? From Miss Mayela. Miss Mayela, you should move on with your life, file for a divorce. If you're asking what can you do to his immigration status, you can't really do anything, because that's not within your control anymore. That is between him and the U.S. government right now. Okay. Good luck to you. My husband keeps on getting pulled over by the same deputy for no license. He already got fingerprinted, but we haven't heard anything from immigration. Can we expedite his case for this reason? From Bea Palomino. Bea, if your husband keeps getting pulled over, I'm not sure if you can get it expedited, but if he has a case in process right now, there's not much that the deputy is going to be able to do, because ICE's removal, enforcement priorities right now are on the lower level in terms of persons who don't pose a risk or danger. So if your husband doesn't have a criminal history really, or he doesn't pose a danger to public safety, he should be fine. But I understand it's very, very stressful. But if you want to expedite your case, you can literally ask for an expedite for any sort of reason. TikTok, I'm sorry, my back is to you, but you just have to give reasons for the emergency. So what possibly you could do, Bea, is if your husband is suffering, increased anxiety over getting pulled over, you can get a psychological report or get a letter from a psychologist that he visits, and maybe use that as a reason to ask for the expedite. Okay, that's what I would say. All right, guys, keep the questions coming. My question is, what if my VAWA gets denied and I don't have any extra proof of evidence? What after? Do I go back to being illegal? Would USCIS send my paperwork to immigration court? Mika, very good question. What happens if your VAWA case gets denied? Well, this is something that a lot of people are worried about. And the thing is that VAWA cases are very highly protected. And underneath the Biden administration, as long as you don't have like a violent history, if you have a certain very serious criminal offenses, a history of violence, things like that, then you probably shouldn't be filing for VAWA anyway, no matter what administration you're under, because you probably wouldn't get approved. And because of the history of violence and the high levels of crimes, especially if they're aggravated felonies, then they may refer your case to ICE for removal proceedings. But if you don't have any of that, which is the majority of everyone, if you don't have controlled substances, aggravated felonies, crimes involving guns, things like that, then you're probably going to be just fine and nothing is literally going to happen to you. Of course, there's no guarantee. Every single case is individual and needs a risk analysis and needs a case assessment before going further. But yes, if anyone files any sort of application, they're at risk for the same thing. So, what will happen will depend individually in the jurisdiction that you're in. The good thing is when you file with VAWA, the Vermont Service Center is the only location that decides the VAWA cases, and they deal with primarily humanitarian cases. So they're not, I don't believe that they're, gunning to deport immigrants. But yeah, you would basically be left without any status if your application gets denied. Are you able to handle any cases that belong to any state like Colorado too? From Vera Mohan. Vera Mohan, yes, I work on cases all throughout the US. Now, I don't take every single type of case. If you watch me, you know that I focus on certain types of cases, but I do work on cases everywhere. So even if you're in Colorado, don't be shy to give us a call, 212-248-7907. If you don't have if you don't have the sort of issues that we deal with, then we'll let you know. All right. Can you file for citizenship if your 10-year green card is expiring in 2 months? From Farina. Farina, yes, you can, although it's always a wise idea to renew your green card, even if you're going to file for citizenship, just to be on the safe side, okay? I applied for my work permit in January. Why do I not get my receipt notice of work permit? It's been 4 months. Good question. If you're not receiving your receipt notice, call customer service to find out why, okay? All right, everyone. It's been wonderful seeing you all. Thank you so much for joining. I'm sorry I can't answer any more questions. Definitely write down my phone number, 212-248-7907. If you need assistance with your immigration case, call us. Let's find out what your options are. I want to spread a message of hope because that's what everyone deserves, okay? Have a wonderful night. Take care. Bye.